I never thought I'd be sitting in a federal courthouse watching my own business partner get arrested. But there I was, watching Derek Martinez, the man I'd trusted with my life's work, being led away in handcuffs. The irony wasn't lost on me. He'd always joked that I was too trusting for the tech world. Turns out, he was right. It started 3 months ago, when I returned from a 2-week client deployment in Denver. I'm a cybersecurity consultant, and my company, SecureNet Solutions, had been growing steadily for 5 years. Derek had been my partner from day one. We'd met in college, roomed together, and he'd been the best man at my wedding. When I started the company, bringing him on as COO seemed natural. He handled the business side, while I focused on the technical work. The first red flag should have been the nervous way he greeted me at the airport. "How was Denver?" he asked, but his eyes wouldn't meet mine. I was exhausted from debugging a client's network for 14 straight days, so I didn't think much of it. I just wanted to get home to Sarah and the kids. But something felt off the moment I walked into our office the next morning. Our receptionist, Linda, looked uncomfortable when she saw me. "Mr. Johnson," she said quietly, "there are some things you need to know." That's when my world started crumbling. "Derek's been telling clients you're planning to sell the company," she whispered. "He's been meeting with our biggest accounts, telling them he's taking over operations." And she paused, looking around nervously. "He's been moving money around, large amounts." I felt that familiar knot in my stomach, the same one I'd gotten as a kid when I knew something was terribly wrong. But I'm not the type to panic. Years of troubleshooting complex security breaches had taught me to stay calm and gather data first. I went straight to my office and logged into our business accounts. What I found made my blood run cold. Our main operating account, which should have had $127,000, showed a balance of $8,400. Our client escrow account, money that legally belonged to our customers, was completely empty. $89,000 gone. But the worst part was our expansion fund, the account where we'd been saving to open a West Coast office. 3 years of careful saving, $186,000, vanished. Over $400,000 missing. I sat there staring at the screen, my hands shaking slightly. This wasn't just theft. This was the systematic destruction of everything I'd built. But Derek had made one crucial mistake. He'd forgotten that I was the one who set up all our security systems, including the ones that tracked every digital transaction. Every transfer, every login, every document access was logged on servers that only I controlled. I spent the next hour pulling transaction records, and the picture that emerged was devastating. Derek hadn't just stolen our money. He'd been planning this for months. The transfers weren't random. They followed a pattern. Small amounts at first, testing whether I'd notice. Then larger sums, always timed to when I was on extended client assignments. But it got worse. Much worse. The phone rang, and I saw it was Tom Bradley from Bradley & Associates, our biggest client. They paid us $50,000 monthly to manage their entire network security. "Mike, we need to talk." Tom's voice was strained. "Derek came by yesterday. He said you're dissolving the company, and that we need to sign new contracts with his new firm, Martinez Security Group. He wanted us to pay the next 6 months up front, $300,000, to ensure continuity of service. My mouth went dry. Tom, I need you to not sign anything. Can you meet me in an hour? Already did, Mike. Sorry. Derek showed us dissolution papers with your signature. We needed to protect our network. After Tom hung up, I sat in the silence of my office, trying to process what was happening. Derek wasn't just stealing from our company. He was stealing our entire client base. He was destroying me professionally and financially in one coordinated attack. But I'm not the type of person who starts fights. I finish them. The first call I made was to my lawyer, Janet Morrison. Janet had handled our corporate setup and knew our partnership agreement inside and out. Mike, this is bad, she said after I explained the situation. But Derek's made several mistakes. First, he can't legally dissolve the company without your consent. Those documents he showed your clients are forgeries. Second, moving client funds to personal accounts is embezzlement. We need to act fast. What do you need from me? Everything. Every log, every transaction record, every communication. And Mike, don't confront Derek yet. Let him think he's getting away with it while we build our case. My next call was to Jack Sullivan, a former FBI agent who now worked private investigations. Jack had been a client before starting his own firm, and I'd helped him set up his digital security systems. Jack, I need your help. Someone's been systematically embezzling from my company, and I need documentation that will hold up in court. How much are we talking about? Over $400,000 so far, possibly more. There was a pause. Mike, at that level, this isn't just a civil matter. This is federal. I'll be there in 2 hours. While waiting for Jack, I did what I do best. I analyzed data. Our security logs showed Derek had been accessing our systems at unusual hours, often late at night or early morning. He'd been copying client lists, contract details, and financial records. But the most damning evidence was in our backup systems. Every document Derek had forged, every fake dissolution paper, every fraudulent contract, he'd created them on our company computers. And thanks to the security protocols I'd implemented, every keystroke was logged and backed up to secure servers. Derek had used our own systems to destroy us. Jack arrived with a forensic accountant named Rebecca Chen. Together we spent the next 6 hours documenting everything. Rebecca traced the money trail, while Jack gathered evidence of the fraud. This is incredibly sophisticated, Rebecca said, looking at the transaction patterns. Your partner didn't just steal money. He created an elaborate scheme to make it look like you were dissolving the company voluntarily. He's been forging documents, creating fake board resolutions, even filing false paperwork with the state. But here's the beautiful part, Jack added, reviewing the security logs. He documented his own crimes. Every forged document, every unauthorized access, every illegal transfer. It's all recorded on your systems with timestamps and digital signatures. As we worked, the scope of Derek's betrayal became clear. He hadn't just stolen from SecureNet Solutions. He'd been using our client relationships to set up his own competing business. He'd copied our proprietary security protocols, our client databases, even our pricing strategies. He was planning to take over our entire operation while leaving me with the debts and legal liabilities. But Derek had underestimated something crucial. I don't just install security systems. I understand them. And I built our system specifically to prevent the kind of attack he was attempting. The next morning, I did something that felt strange. I went to work and acted normal. Derek was already there, trying to look busy while clearly nervous about something. "How was Denver?" he asked. The same question he had asked at the airport. "Productive," I replied. "The client was happy with our work. They're recommending us to 3 other companies." I watched his face carefully. There was a flash of something. Disappointment? Fear? He'd been counting on me being too distracted by the missing money to pursue new business. "That's great, Mike. Listen, I've been thinking about our expansion plans. Maybe we should slow down a bit. Focus on our existing clients." "Interesting timing," I said. "Especially since I just checked our accounts and noticed some unusual activity." Derek's face went pale. "What kind of activity?" "The kind that federal investigators find very interesting." That afternoon, Janet filed emergency injunctions, freezing all of Derek's assets and preventing him from conducting business under our company name. Simultaneously, Jack delivered our evidence package to the FBI's white-collar crime unit. Derek's house of cards began falling immediately. The FBI moved fast. By Thursday, just 2 days after I'd confronted Derek, federal agents were at our office with search warrants. They seized Derek's computers, phones, and all financial records. They also froze the accounts where he'd hidden our stolen money. But the real satisfaction came when they arrested Derek at his new office, the one he'd rented using our stolen money to set up Martinez Security Group. Agent Maria Santos called me that evening. "Mr. Johnson, your documentation made this case simple. Your partner committed wire fraud, mail fraud, embezzlement, and forgery. He's looking at 15 to 20 years in federal prison. What about the money? We've recovered $387,000 so far. There might be more. And because this was a federal case, you'll be eligible for full restitution plus damages." The best part came the following week. Our clients, realizing they'd been scammed, not only returned to SecureNet Solutions, but signed expanded contracts. Word spread in our industry about how we'd used our own security expertise to catch a sophisticated fraudster. Our reputation for trustworthiness and technical competence actually grew stronger. Tom Bradley called personally to apologize. "Mike, when we heard how Derek played us, we felt terrible. We're doubling our contract with you. Companies need to know they can trust their security partners." 6 months later, Derek pled guilty to all charges. In addition to the 18-year prison sentence, he was ordered to pay $2.3 million in restitution, covering not just what he stole, but damages to our business and legal costs. The money he'd thought he was stealing to start his own company ended up funding our West Coast expansion, after all. At the sentencing hearing, Derek's lawyer asked if I wanted to make a victim impact statement. I stood up and looked at the man who'd been my friend for 15 years. My business partner for 5, and my betrayer for who knows how long. "Your Honor, Derek Martinez didn't just steal money from me. He tried to destroy my reputation, my relationships with clients, and my family's financial security. He used my trust against me and my own systems to document his crimes. But in the end, he taught me something valuable. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about using the system to protect honest people from predators." I looked directly at Derek for the first time since his arrest. "I don't hate you, Derek, but I'll never trust you again. And thanks to this conviction, neither will anyone else. After the hearing, Sarah asked me how I felt. Satisfied, I told her. Not because Derek's going to prison, but because the system worked. He thought he was smarter than me, smarter than our clients, smarter than the law. He was wrong on all counts. Today, SecureNet Solutions has offices in 4 cities and over 50 employees. We've become known as the cybersecurity firm that's so good at protecting data that we even caught our own partner trying to steal it. That reputation has been worth millions in new business. Derek's in federal prison in Colorado, serving his sentence. He'll be eligible for parole in 2037, when he's 58 years old. His family lost their house. His kids had to change schools, and his wife divorced him within 6 months of his conviction. I don't take pleasure in his suffering, but I don't regret pursuing justice either. He made his choices, and actions have consequences. The other day, Linda asked me if I ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't discovered the theft when I did. He would have succeeded, I told her. He would have taken everything, destroyed our client's trust, and left me holding the bag for hundreds of thousands in debts and liabilities. He would have built his new company on our clients and our reputation, while I faced bankruptcy and possibly criminal charges for the missing client funds. So you're glad you caught him? I'm glad justice was served. Derek thought he was playing chess while I was playing checkers. But the truth is, I wasn't playing a game at all. I was just doing my job, protecting valuable data and systems from unauthorized access. It just happened that the threat was coming from inside the company. People sometimes ask me if I trust my business partners now. The answer is yes, but I verify everything. Trust isn't about believing people will never betray you. Trust is about building systems that make betrayal impossible to hide. Derek taught me that lesson the hard way. But in the end, he paid for my education with 18 years of his life. And you know what? I sleep just fine at night.